Yes, welcome along to episode 20 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365 with David Jennings and Gavin Lynch. Counting debt? No, we're finished. Reviewing the 2020 Cheltenham Festival. Yes, you asked for it, and we're here. You wanted a review show looking back at everything that happened at the 2021 Cheltenham Festival, and here we are. And I think it shows our character, Gavin, that we're here, because we hit the crossbar on numerous occasions. Yeah. But we live to fight another day, and we're here to talk about it. How was Cheltenham for you?
Actually, look at Cheltenham was brilliant. Every year we kind of turn around afterwards and we say, that was one of the best Cheltenhams ever. But the thing is, we say it every year. So it's always a roller coaster for a few days, especially for punters. And Henry de Bromhead to win the champion hurdle, the champion chase, the Gold Cup. First trainer ever to do it. Rachel with 6 winners, so yeah, huge. Some great highlights, yeah.
Now we're going to dissect all of our tips, and we're going to look back on the whole festival later on in the show, so you're going to have to stay tuned. But just from your point of view, Gavin, the best performance of the week?
Visually, I suppose you could say maybe Allaho, or you could say Appreciate It, or maybe Bob Ollinger, but
Bob Ollinger for me.
Was it?
Oh, wow. Yeah. It was just wow.
The Gold Cup to me is just always the best race, and it was a brilliant finish. The three of them we're a long way clear of the rest. Yeah, I thought the Gold Cup was probably the best.
Now, I think I did tell you that Album Photo wouldn't win.
Yes.
But I also did...
I told you Champ wouldn't win, but anyway.
Yeah.
The thing, what's funny is, I basically had no bet in the Gold Cup, and the only time of the whole week, and I backed a few winners and plenty of losers, but the only time for the whole week I got up out of my chair and roared at the television was for Album Photo as they turned in, because I'd love to have seen him win a third Gold Cup. And in the end, I started cheering for the winner, and I was cheering for the second. But that's the Gold Cup.
That's what Cheltenham does to you, Gavin. Yeah. So we're going to try and look back on everything we can that happened at last week's Cheltenham Festival. So you're going to have to stay tuned. So as ever here on Upping The Ante, we're going to kick off with our questions from the crowd. And the first one this week comes in from Gareth Cummins, Gavin. And he wants to know, what was your best result of the festival and what was your worst?
Okay, I'll start with the worst. And can I give you a few?
Bad news first, good news later.
I'll never give you one answer. Definitely the worst one for me financially was NVLN. I had him in a load of multiples, including the two winners and the two novice chases. So
now, if I know Gavin Lynch like I think I know Gavin Lynch, you're too shrewd for that business. I'd say you laid off a bit, did you?
Well, every year at Cheltenham, if I back a horse at a good price and goes off a lot shorter, I would always maybe lay it for something so that, you can't be too maverick in these things. So I didn't lose on it, but I would have won a good few quid if NVLN had won, so that was a pity. Concertista getting nutted, that wasn't pretty. Ellie May, obviously, in the Mirror's Chase, again got nutted and killed Crut. So three close ones. In terms of good ones, Galvin was super. If you'd said to me Tuesday morning, either Galvin or Concertista would win, I would have been thrilled. But obviously when Concertista gets nutted on the line, you think maybe both could have won. Tell
me this, right?
Yes.
Concertista gets beaten. You're talking about Concertista, you've tipped Concertista.
Yes.
You have backed Concertista. 2 yards from the line, you're in front.
Yeah.
You know she's beaten. Just talk to me about Gavin Lynch in those 5 seconds. Do you get a pillow and throw it on the ground, or cushion, I should say? You know what I'm about.
A couple of curses, but you're what
did you curse? Did you actually curse? I don't think you cursed.
But in fairness, Jack Kennedy, he just...
No, but I want to know what you did. You must have got thick, like.
Yeah, I was annoyed for a few minutes, but you get on with it and go to the next race straight away.
Like, I invented curses winning too because I was beaten. I was making up my own curses.
You even sent one to our group WhatsApp.
Oh,
but I would just...
Do you not feel like just...
No,
yeah? No.
And then you watch it again hoping that you've won the photo, but you know you hadn't.
Did you know passing line Concertista was beaten?
Yeah. She was beaten ahead. But straight up to the spreadsheet and just put in loser every time you see Concertista. And that's racing. I'm backing horses 30 years, so you just get used to it.
You have a lovely attitude, Gavin.
Oh, you have to. Good ones, Galvin was good, Appreciate It was good. The Shunter was very good, and thankfully to finish off, Galloping the Champ helped for the week. So
okay,
won something small for the week, but very little.
So Gareth wanted 1, and you're into double figures there, I think.
Eight.
There you go. So that was a small flavour of Gavin Lynch's Cheltenham Festival last week. Our next question comes in from Kevin Corkery, and Kevin asks, give us one horse that was beaten at the Cheltenham Festival, Gavin, that will win at either the Punchestown or Aintree Festival.
Okay. I'll give you 1 for Punchestown and 3 for Aintree, but the only reason I'm giving you 3 for Aintree is that it's only 3 weeks away and these might not run, because it's so close. I thought Ellen Valley was unlucky a little bit in the Boodles.
Ran well.
Good bit back, a little bit of trouble, and also it was like me riding a camel. It seemed like the saddle was a long way back on the horse going by the line, so I'd say the saddle slipped.
Would you ride camels very often?
Once. Langerdan, I thought that was a very good performance. Of 135. Now in Aintree it's going to be higher than that because it won't just have the mandatory £5 penalty. But like there were 9 lengths clear of the rest. I think Galloping the Champ is a really good horse. So I think Langer Dan if it shows up in Aintree, and obviously if a Plutard goes there, maybe it won't. But obviously a Plutard won't go to Punchestown because it has to go left-handed. But if it did, I think that'd win. And at Punchestown, I think Billaway will be a hot favourite. But it jumped much better at Cheltenham, and that should win the Hunter's Chase.
Yeah, that was one of those like Concertista. You just thought was going to get there and then didn't.
Yeah, even 5 yards out, it looked like it was going to just put the head down at the right time, but it was some finish.
I'm going to give you one that I just think could be overpriced at Aintree and could do the business. Roxana in the Liverpool Hurdle. I just thought that's not how to ride. Obviously, I know Harry Skelton.
I agree with you.
Realised, she's a stayer. They didn't go overly quick. I have to kick on here. I don't want to get done for toe. And I just thought Roxana loves passing horses.
Absolutely.
And I would love at Aintree, if she goes for the Liverpool Hurdle over 3 miles, sit last. Just sit last, let her enjoy herself. And I just think she could come through because I don't think there's any outstanding staying hurdlers at the moment.
Yeah, like I back Concertista, so I was actually thrilled when Roxana was sitting second and third. I said to myself, what's
going on here?
Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
I hate, we'll move on now because we have a lot to get through, but one of the things I hate, take a horse like Mellon. Mellon absolutely loves enjoying himself, getting on with it, pinging fences. Last 2 starts, he just sulked when he didn't do what he likes to do. And I thought similarly with Roxana, she just likes passing horses.
So basically do what suits the horse best.
What suits it, no matter what the trip is, do what suits the horse best. That would be my advice to trainers who know a lot more than me. So there you go. There's a few horses that could win at Aintree or Punchestown. And our final question this week comes in from Paul Matthews. And Paul wants to know, Gavin, what was the best ride of the entire week at the Cheltenham Festival? And what was the worst?
Good question. I think the best ride of the week, now just to say to you, there was tons of really great rides. Rachel gave some horses fantastic rides. But no doubt for me that Jack Kennedy and Mount Ida was the ride of the week. Because at one stage it looked like he was going to pull it up. I had something small in Mount Ida, but my plan was, and I told a few friends that I was going to back and running because normally if you watched her in Cork twice or you watched her in...
Where are you?
No, calm down.
Did you get 1,000?
Calm down, no. So it started in Cork and also in Thurles. Like in Thurles after 4 or 5 fences you thought to yourself was going to maybe pull up behind Colreevy. But so my brilliant plan was she'd be a bit slow over the first 4 or 5 or 6 and then she might trade at 6 or 8 or 10 to 1.
It's a master plan.
And yeah, it was. But I didn't allow for the fact that going left-handed, her previous 3 were right-handed. So she jumped out to her right and I abandoned the plan.
Nothing? Not even a tenner?
No, nothing.
Fiver?
No. Because she had started so badly. The first 9 or 10 fences she jumped to the right.
Did you think she was going to be pulled up?
Maybe, yeah. But she is going to be a savage animal going the other way around. If she goes to Punchestown over 3 mile, it'll take a good horse to beat her.
In a grade 1, like?
Maybe, if she'd be getting the £7. But even, I'm not sure what handicap rating she'll go to, but she's a very good animal.
Yeah, wow.
So now my plan...
Jack Kennedy, best ride of the week?
And you?
I'm going to give Rachel the best and the worst ride of the week, right? I thought Rachel was just phenomenal from start to finish. And I love the way horses travel for her. And I just, watching her, it's lovely to watch a jockey riding with supreme confidence. And I thought her ride on Tell Me Something Girl, a horse who previously, had been quite handy and Henry's like to be up with the pace. Very seldom you see one of Henry's drop completely out. Yeah. And what I loved about the ride
was last for a circuit to go.
Henry said afterwards as well that Rachel told Henry the plan. And I think the fact that he'd ran so many mares in that race and been prominent and they hadn't won, that they changed tactics and just thought and Tell Me Something Girl, she zigzagged her way through the pack, got there at the right time, pinged it, like she's brilliant at getting the ping the last. Yeah. Isn't she?
Yeah.
Like Honeysuckle pinged the last, Bob Ollinger pinged the last, Tell Me Something Girl pinged the last. And I just thought that ride from Rachel was just fantastic.
One thing I'd say about Rachel is I'd say she's probably the bravest jockey out there because even in Thurles on Saturday, she throws one into the last, makes a mistake, and a half an hour later she does it again and wins the race.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah.
So to me, she's just very brave.
Now, obviously, she was fantastic all week, but I would say she would love the ride back again on Captain Guinness. Not that Captain Guinness would have won the race, but Captain Guinness was by far the second best horse in the race. And it's almost like in the RS or the Brown Advisory, Harry Cobden on the big breakaway, the second best horse in the race. Captain Guinness, second best horse in the race. But I was surprised she took on All Mankind the whole way.
Yeah, the horse is very keen with her, so maybe she had no choice. But
Maybe. I would have just loved to seen her sit second, just take a lead, sit on his tail, not keep going to take him on. And I think Captain Guinness would have finished second. And similarly with the big breakaway, and I can see why they did it. We have to take on Monkfish. But like, the Big Breakaway out-jumped Monkfish most of the way.
On occasions, yeah.
So, like, they were two horses that were clearly second best that didn't finish second. So they went to win the race. And I
actually backed Captain Guinness without Shishkin, so I was a bit unlucky there.
Yeah,
the worst ride of the week for me, I got the question yesterday, so I looked and looked and looked, and there was hardly any.
Yeah.
This wasn't the worst ride of the week maybe, but one that could have been turned around I thought was Kilcrut. Rachel was brilliant. She went slow, she quickened. Paul ended up 5 lengths behind, turning in. Now don't give out about Paul, because hopefully he's coming on the cycle.
Brilliant ride on the winner though.
Brilliant ride in the winner. He's hopefully coming on the cycle with us in September, so I won't say too much, but I thought maybe Kilcrut might have got there.
But again, Rachel was devastating.
Yep.
It was Rachel's week, wasn't it?
Yep.
It was Rachel's week at Cheltenham. Now here on Upping The Ante, it's time for your 2021 Cheltenham Festival review. We're going to have a look through each day at the Cheltenham Festival and see what caught Gavin Lynch's eye. And there was plenty.
Yeah, at least I got away with saying that appreciated was a certainty, so I won't be using that word ever again.
Really? But it worked.
I did, but no.
Certainly 24 lengths.
I won't be using that again, but he was very impressive. Shishkin was brilliant. The first 4 races were won very, very easy in the end. Happy-go-lucky like a winner turning in, looked like a winner turning in, but Vintage Clouds, the 11-year-old, ended up winning easy. Champion Hurdle was magic. Honeysuckle was...
Did you end up back in Honeysuckle?
I had something small in it, yeah.
Okay.
Very, very little.
Her.
Her.
People hate it, apparently, her.
The price was too bad, really. I thought... it went off 11 to 10, like that's just...
Incredible.
The betting companies that are out there now, it's incredible.
Tell me this, right, for people that don't know, what happens there? Like, just say with Honeysuckle, is it the real form judges saying Honeysuckle is going to win? Is it stuff coming from the stable saying she worked brilliantly last week? Well, like, how can Honeysuckle, who was 5 to 2 a couple of days before that, go off 11 to 10 when you know everything about all the horses?
The landscape of betting in racing has completely changed in the last 3 or 4 years. 10 years ago, I said this to a couple of judges and they agreed that 10 years ago, Honeysuckle would have...
You didn't say it to me.
Honeysuckle would have been 2 to 1 in the morning of the Champion Hurdle, and she would have SP'd probably 2 to 1. But there's very, very large betting companies now. When they take an opinion that a horse is going to win, they back it for a lot of money, and that's why it went off 11 to 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But she was brilliant. Goshen, as we said, he'd need to be a freak to beat her. She's just a bit mad, isn't he? He's the drummer in a rock and roll band, isn't he?
Yeah.
He has to go right-handed.
He reminds me of my George at night. Just, you wouldn't know what he'd do.
Yeah. But I don't know, will he ever go left-handed again, but because he looks so good at Wincanton, but just he's a bit mad.
He's a bit cracked, yeah. But he has, like, the thing about Goshen is, like, you kind of, you love to hate him, or you hate to love him, if you know what I mean. As in, he adds so much intrigue to a race, like.
I'd say he'd be great crack at a party, wouldn't he?
Great crack. He'd be up having
like
the crack, dancing on tables at 5 o'clock.
If I was inviting 3 or 4 horses for a meal, I think he'd be one of them anyway.
He'd be one of them, yeah.
Great for Noel Meade for Jeff Kidder, 80 to 1.
It was no more great for Noel Meade. Beat St. Sam.
I back St. Sam, yeah. And then...
Well done, Noel.
And Sean Flanagan. The last race of the day, the National Hunt Chase, in terms of being competitive and a really, really good race, I thought it was, not just because I backed the winner, but Next Destination, Ascari at 10. It was just a brilliant chase, wasn't it? And Jack was magic on it.
Jack was magic. And I think, to sum up your point, the fancy horses all had a chance turning in, all ran their races. Yeah. And it was just an intriguing race to watch from start to finish.
And tactically, and the way he switched up the inside. And
great idea, I have to say, great idea making a 3-mile sixer.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
It worked.
Yeah, because you're probably getting a better class of horse.
Well, I tell you something.
Go on.
What I think that race will stay for professionals.
You reckon?
I do, yeah.
Just don't say that. Some of the amateurs...
I just have a feeling. Now, maybe it won't happen, but I just wonder, given the pace they went, they didn't go like they usually do. Professional jockeys and the bad press that race has got in previous years. I just wonder. The
ground was good to soft, so that made a big difference too, you know.
Did, yeah.
And the times were quite fast on the Tuesday. Like, that was done in 7:57, so less than 8 minutes would be good.
So your highlight of Tuesday then?
Asha has to be Honeysuckle. Sure, she was amazing.
She was amazing. And a word on Shishkin?
And by the way, the last thing with the £7, I'm sure that's probably going to change. I have a few stats to give you at the end of this, and there's one about mares.
Okay. Shishkin?
Magic.
Yeah.
If I had to ask you, name a British horse that'll definitely win next year at Cheltenham. Obviously, you'd say Shishkin, but you wouldn't say too many others. So he's a class act.
We'll speak about that later in the show, will we?
Yep.
Okay, moving on to Wednesday, and I have to hold my hands up here, Gavin. Bob Ollinger. You back Bob Ollinger 33 to 1. Like this time last year? Yeah. This time last year, 33 to 1. So, like, he's a freak. He's like, to me, that's the most talented horse at this year's Cheltenham Festival.
Really?
Bob Olinger, yeah.
Really?
I just thought, I was watching it in disbelief, and knowing the way Henry's progressed, when that horse goes over fences, Lord holy God, what is he going to be?
There was a brilliant camera shot of Rachel looming up.
Harry Cobden's camera, yeah.
They were saying on TV that he was going around the parade ring beforehand, quiet as a lamb, that he's a real pet of a horse, so that's a good sign. But he was magic.
Like, I have to say, and I said this to you before, speaking to Henry, and I spoke to Henry 20 times in the last month, going up to Cheltenham, you know, and I rang him every morning for the preview quotes, and Bob Olinger was just the one horse. Every time I spoke to him,
a glint in his eye.
Yeah, every time I spoke to him on the phone, there was a glint in his eye.
Lovely.
But there was just something, like, Henry is so pessimistic. He is the most pessimistic man. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, he fears the worst. I don't know how he got through a pandemic, right? But he fears the worst. And he's so negative, and in fairness, it's a great way to live life probably, because then everything is a bonus. Do you know what I mean? He just wanted one winner. But there was just something, every time he spoke with Bob Olinger, I kind of was saying to myself, and then afterwards I spoke to him on Saturday, I said, Henry, can I ask a question about Bob Olinger? I said, were you always biting your tongue to not say something amazing about Bob Olinger when I spoke to you in the last month? And he said, yeah.
Really?
I think they knew.
Yeah, Henry doesn't say too much.
No.
I was chatting to a friend of mine, Peter, 20 minutes before the Ballymore. I said, how are you? What's your best result here? And he had backed Bob Olinger at 20s, he'd backed Galler Dominion at 16s, and he backed Braveman's game at 14s. So he wasn't too worried what won.
Come on, Peter.
Yeah. Monkfish was very good. He wasn't as good as maybe he had been before.
Did you do the times?
Yeah.
Astonishing, wasn't it?
Yeah, 6-11.
He would have won the Champion Chase. What was it? He would have won the Champion Chase and the Grand Annual.
Go away.
Apparently so.
His jumping was very in and out. He wasn't maybe himself. A bad mistake of the last where everybody's heart was in their mouth, but he's a very, very good animal.
Can I just say something, right? I know he was well beaten, but I did get the big breakaway right. Like, he ran an absolute stormer.
Yeah, he was beaten 17 lengths.
But yeah, I know he was beaten, but you can't just look at results, Gavin.
Yeah, but Fiddler on the Roof beat him, and Eclat de Rear would have beat him.
Would you stop? But you're like, he took Monkfish on the whole way. Yeah. You don't think he was second best horse in the race?
No.
Go on, move on there.
Heaven help us, bolted up. Your man Richie Condon seems the right character, doesn't he? The jockey.
Great crack. What about Paul Hennessy?
Yeah.
I rang Paul. This is the last time I'm going to talk about a preview quote, right? But I rang Paul Hennessy the day before the Coral Cup, right? To get a quote for Heaven help us. He nearly started crying on the phone. He goes, I can't believe I'm here. To have a runner at Cheltenham is unbelievable. I'm just privileged. And there was almost a tear. I could see a tear in his eye on the phone.
No?
What?
Did they breed it as well? I'm not sure.
They could have done. I'm not sure. He only got 2 horses. One of them was Heaven help us. But he was emotional before the race. Imagine what he was like after the race.
Well, she's definitely resolute. She's not a dog anyway.
No, just to explain. He's a greyhound trainer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good joke, Gavin.
Yeah. Put the kettle on. Shack and Poursois, yeah, I don't know. Like, between the last 2, you say, oh yeah, up the inside, take it up, yeah, win 3 lengths. And just, there was doubts whether it came up the hill before, but I mean, maybe the horse is 9 years old, or I don't know. But
well, was it not just blatantly a case of us just getting it wrong? I said on every preview show, like Tom Siegel said, he loved Shack and Poursois for 95% of a race for that last 5%, and I said, no, that's rubbish. He'll be fine.
Look, maybe he just underperformed on the day, but she's amazing. Put the kettle on, 4 from 4 at the track. It's hard to believe that Shack and Poursois can kick her out of the way in Leopardstown, and then she beats him at Cheltenham. It's mad, isn't it?
Just mental, yeah.
There should be a statement. There should be a thing called horses for courses or something, shouldn't there?
There should, yeah.
Should.
Yeah.
Be a good expression.
4 from 4, unbeaten under Aidan Coleman. It was blatantly obvious, wasn't it?
Yeah. Getting the £7. Highlight of day 2 was definitely Tiger Roll.
Yeah, but yeah.
Definitely.
Tipped on Upping The Ante by
your man on the right.
7-1. Did he go off 7-1? He probably did.
He went off 9-2.
All right.
But fantastic for Keith Donoghue. You could see what it meant to Keith afterwards. He was very, very emotional. Keith is a local man to us. Lovely, lovely fella. Great guy. So, yeah.
And as I spoke to him after the race, like, he had the balls to take it up on Tiger Roll, not take a lead. Don't disappoint. All he wanted to do, he said, was not disappoint the horse. Whatever the horse wanted to do, if the horse wanted to go into Guinness Village for a point, he was going into the Guinness Village.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't want to disappoint him.
It won by 18 lengths. It turned around the form exactly with Easy's Land. Obviously, the ground was a lot better. But the decision to take it out of the Ancient Grand National, to me, was just, they should have waited till after Cheltenham. Now, I know it's hindsight, but,
yeah, but
it's only £7 higher than when
I know, right? To be honest, right, I'm going to... Let the horse has won 5 times at Cheltenham. Can we not just enjoy that? Who cares about the Grand National for the moment? I sat down with Michael and Eddie O'Leary in December to speak about Tiger Roll. They mentioned the Grand National maybe once or twice. They mentioned Cheltenham for Tiger Roll 20 times.
It's just he's won it twice.
Cheltenham means more to them than the Grand National, it seems to me anyway.
Okay.
And I was sick to the teeth of the coverage on every channel saying, oh, it's such a shame he's not going for the Grand National. So, can we not just enjoy the fact that he's won at the Cheltenham Festival for the 5th time? That's incredible, Gav. Sorry, rant over, I'm finished.
I think it's great that he won, but I just think it's a pity he's not going to the Aintree Grand National. Sky Pirate, there was 2 horses I fancied.
You had to go from that into Sky Pirate.
A couple of months ago, I fancied 2 horses for Cheltenham for handicaps. One was a Scary 10 for the Kim Muir if it got in, and it would have won off 145, I got 147. And the other one was Sky Pirate, again 145, went up to 152, and I said, that's him gone. And he actually won at 14-1.
I still have vomit in my mouth over in Tukas.
Short head in the end, yeah.
Crashed through the second last, one more stride, 18-1 and Up in the Ante. Gutted.
What could have been? Well, I was just as good in the bumper with Kilcrut.
You can't compare that. I was in front in another stride.
Well, yeah.
Go on, I'm only joking.
I just thought Rachel again, brilliant, kicked on 5 lengths clear turning in, and he just couldn't make it back, a half length in the end. So 2 brilliant horses and a very, very good bumper. The mare in third was really good, and 3 Stripe Life in fourth. I think they're 4 really good horses.
And can I just say, I know he was beaten, but Kilcrut was a brilliant tip. He'd only won a Navan bumper. It was early in the season. 16-1? 14-1, brilliant tip. Hard luck.
We're on to Thursday now.
Highlight of Wednesday?
Definitely Tiger Roll.
Tiger Roll for me as well.
Yeah.
Thursday?
Thursday, NVLN falling at the 4th was just like, it took me an hour to get over that.
Did it?
Just for him, and just what an amazing racehorse, and for that to happen was just devastating, no?
And were you like, do you sit down watching the race or stand up?
Sit down, yeah.
And did you kind of slump back in? And
I got out of the chair once for the Gold Cup, that was it. I was just devastated because I love him to bits. And as we said before, we all feel like we own 1% of them, don't we?
Yeah. And sure, it's himself.
Yeah, it was devastating. I couldn't believe it happened. But because he'd been keen down to the start, Jack had no choice but to sit him behind. The thing is that the 3 races he ran in where was it, down Royal Ferry House on Punchestown, they were very, very, small runner fields. He was long odds on, so he probably didn't gain enough experience. But anyway, that was devastating. Chantry House won well in the end. He won by 3 lengths. But that was a pity.
Yeah, it was a pity, yeah.
But at least Nicky and Nico, 2 winners.
Hems final?
Mrs. Milner, yeah. I backed the boss's Oscar, and I thought to myself all the way around, Jordan Gainford, who we gave a big mention to, gave it a super spin, but Mrs. Milner bolted up in the end.
Could I just defend myself here? Imperial Alcazar was struck into.
Okay.
It was lame.
Right.
Vet's report afterwards. Sure, that cat, I know the ground was against him and everything, but if you're telling me that's as good as Imperial Alcazar is, I know nothing about racing. Sure. I know people who watch and say, you know nothing about racing, but he's a better horse than that.
Yeah, no, we'll know more in a year. Please God he comes back. I'd say he probably wants a bit softer ground as well.
He does, yeah. I told everybody he'd run the Gold Cup someday. That's not going too well, is
it? Visually, maybe the most impressive performance of the week and on the clock was Allaho in the Ryanair. He won it in 5 minutes 9 seconds. Now later on we're going to talk about the Paddy Power Plate, which is a very, very competitive chase. And that was running 9 seconds slower. That's 36 lengths. But Allaho was simply, literally unbeatable on the day. I don't know if any horse could have beaten him.
Ever.
Stop. But he bolted up. Fakir Doody ended up running on to be second. But most of the horses were gone at halfway because they couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah, unbelievable performance.
And afterwards, I actually said it to somebody the following day, God, I wonder would he have a chance in a champion chase? And they were saying, no, he's going for the King George and stuff. But since then, Willie has said maybe I think he'd have a right chance in a champion chase, yeah.
Yeah, big time. Brilliant.
Him, Energamine and Shishkin, that'd be a good race, wouldn't it?
Oh, wow.
Imagine the pace that'd be going.
You get up in the middle of the night for that one, Gavin.
You would, if you lived in Australia. Flooring Porter won the stairs hurdle really well. To me, he looks the most likely winner of it next year because he's only 6th.
Training performance of the week?
I'd say so, yeah. He'll be up there.
Unbelievable.
I remember backing him in 3 or 4 handicap hurdles off 119 and stuff, and he getting bet. He
was rated like 90 something in
95
Bellewstown.
on stage, yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Just literally the change of tactics has worked the oracle. He bolted up in Navan, won well at Leopardstown in a slow time, so we all thought maybe he robbed the race, but he didn't. His jumping was electric in the stairs hurdle.
Danny Mullins, delighted for Danny. Works hard, clever guy, deserved a Cheltenham winner, deserved a Grade 1 Cheltenham winner, and he got it.
He did. Poor Jonathan Moore, very unfortunate, but sure, he'll have his day again.
Measure of the man afterwards, lovely interviews was happy for everybody involved, and it's just the way to do things.
Look, the only way you can look at it is that next year he gets to ride Flooring Porter, who has a great chance of winning it again. So, and then we're on to the Shunter. Just brilliant.
Owned by friend of the show, Paul Byrne. Did we say, I think Upping The Ante was actually his idea, the owner of the Shunter.
So we're good pals with Paul. Paul's a fantastic fella. Emmett seems to be a brilliant trainer. His strike rate is phenomenal. But the Shunter to have gone and won in Kelso, and then to take the brave decision to put Jordan Gainford up was brilliant.
Did you have a little word in his ear? You've been waxing lyrical about Jordan Gainford for months now. Did you get into his ear?
I know, he asked a few different lads' opinions, but I just thought playing with 7 would be good. He ended up only carrying 10 stone 5. He jumped quite well. People were giving out of his jump, and I thought he jumped well, except for 5 out, 4 out, maybe even 3 out.
For a horse with such little experience, I thought it was...
So he's definitely one to keep the right side of.
Could he be a Grade 1 horse?
I'd say in time, yeah. I think he'll end up being a 3-miler myself.
Could you see him running something like the Savage Chase Leopardstown next year?
Maybe. I'd say he'll be doing a few travels in the meantime.
Oh.
Tell Me Something Girl, as we mentioned earlier, she bolted up. They knew they were going to have a lot of pace in the race with Magic Days, but she ended up winning by 5.5 lengths, and again, Rachel was super. And then we spoke about...
What's the Tell Me Something Girl is the first line of what song?
It's the one from that movie. What do you call her?
You're not
Lady Gaga.
A bit vague there, Gavin, yeah?
Lady Gaga.
Shallow.
Shallow, yeah.
Do you want to sing it?
No.
Go on.
No. My daughter sings it. But it's a brilliant movie.
Oh, brilliant. Bawling the eyes out. I'm a disaster for them films.
And we spoke with Maudida. For me, the performance of the day on Thursday was definitely Allaho.
Yes. Will agree. Allaho.
Allaho, yeah.
So Friday, Gold Cup day.
Friday, Quilixios wins the Triumph Hurdle. Tritonic, who we wanted to take on, was poor. Zanahir, I suppose, really was poor. Zanahir was very keen, got outpaced and stayed on again when the race was over. Quilixios, really, really good horse. It'll be interesting if he goes chasing next year. He'll be getting an age allowance up till Christmas, but then when he gets to Cheltenham, he won't be getting any weight up, say, appreciated in an Arkle. So just keep that in mind.
Zanahir was disappointing, wasn't he?
Very disappointing, yeah.
He's better than that. Jeez, he's better than that.
Look, horses don't always run to 100%. That's just the nature of the beast. As a fella said to me one day, they're only human.
I have to say, that's your best line in Upping The Ante.
Belfast Banter, that's a horse I backed a couple of times and couldn't win bad races and ends up winning the county hurdle.
And looked like a flat track horse who doesn't finish.
Yeah.
And he bombs up the hill.
Yeah, amazing. Petit Mouchoir ran a cracker in second. Vanillier bolted up in the Albert Bartlett. I thought I had a chance with Statler turning in, but I'd say he just wants a ploughed field maybe. But Vanillier won by 11 lengths in the end. I think he'd have a chance in next year's RSA.
That was really sweet on him. That race at Limerick at Christmas, time and time again, winners of the Albert Bartlett come out of it. Of course, that was the race that Faheen won all those years ago.
Yeah, no, he was very, very impressive.
He was second to Farouk Delen in it.
Yeah, it was a fast time, 6 minutes and 1 second. But to me, he looks a gorgeous big chaser. Hurdles looked like they were getting in his way, a bit like Monkfish last year in the same race. So I think Vanillier is going to make a fantastic chaser. Then we're on to a race called the Gold Cup. Champ was gone after 1, 2, 3 fences.
Okay, yeah. Don't keep bringing it up, right? I know he was gone after not one. He was gone. It's the shortest I've got out of a fancy ever.
If you backed a dog in the 5.25 in Shelburne Park, you get more of a thrill.
It was like a horse missing the break in the Nunthorpe. You were just going, this is gone. Yeah. I watched the race with my dad, and I said, he's gone. I said after one I said, this horse is gone. And it just got crashed. It was like you were watching your worst nightmare, and you thought the nightmare couldn't get any worse, and then you got to the next fence. And it got worse, like you were falling off houses and you were getting shot. And
I thought the most interesting part of the race was as they started to come down the hill, where Paul kind of blocked Rachel. He was getting his own back for last year with Honeysuckle and Benny the Jew. And then just before the turn in, Rachel chopped him off as well.
In your face.
Yeah, so that was good. But I thought Manila Indo was definitely the best jumper of the three. So the three of them finished miles clear. Brilliant finish, great race. And Jack Kennedy is an amazing jockey. As Rachel is and as Paul is, but Jack was amazing.
Do you think Jack's biggest asset is that he doesn't do that much? He's so quiet. He lets the horses make up their minds. I thought when Ruby was talking about him on NVLN at Down Royal earlier on the season, I thought that was the best analysis of Jack I've seen. Whereas, he just sits so quiet. His hands are still. And it's lovely to see that in a jockey. He reminds me, he's as close at the moment in style to Ruby as we have, I think.
Okay. Yeah, and he's such a calm fella. He's like Ryan Moore in the flat. Afterwards, and after when he wins a race, he's so calm.
Jack, you've won the lotto. You've won 9 million.
Yeah.
That's great.
The other thing as well is that if Gordon Elliott, if Gordon Gate didn't happen a month ago or whatever, Jack would have been top jockey probably because he would have ridden Sir Gerhard and he also would have ridden Quilixius.
No, he wouldn't. He would have rode Zana here. That's the one thing people have got wrong. Okay. Yeah, sorry, Nick. Cut you off there.
Well, then it would have been 5 each.
Yeah.
Then the Hunter's Chase, brilliant finish. Porlock Bay just got up to beat our beloved Billaway. Yeah. The Mayor's Chase.
Yes, I got a winner.
Well done.
I got a winner. Go on, Conor Evie.
Brilliant finish again. There wasn't actually that many brilliant finishes for the week. There was an awful lot of races that were won by 5 and 10 lengths, but this was a great finish. I was roaring for Ellie May. I was surprised. I suppose Mark had no choice, but down the back straight, it would have been nice if he was able to take a pole and go in to her left because she was jumping to her right, and Mark was helping to keep her straight. But anyway, that's the way it goes.
She's a terrific mare, isn't she? To give Ellie May weight at a track where she's better going the other way around.
She is, yeah.
She's better on softer ground. Terrific performance.
Her attitude is 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Top notch.
Yeah, no, she's a great battler.
Who also ran a cracker in the Paddy Power Plate.
But she jumped pretty well, and she was definitely a deserving winner.
Are we nearly there?
Last one, Galloping Deschamps. The first two finished clear. Langer Dan, who you mentioned before, ran a cracker 135. Galloping Deschamps looked like a really, really good horse.
Did you back Galloping Deschamps? There was no better feeling. I know it's different when you're home, but there's no better feeling than backing the last winner at the festival.
It was a help, yeah.
You go out in a high, like, because I remember first year Aoife came to Cheltenham, she used to come over on the Thursday night and I'd be working all week and I'd take the Friday off. Rock the World won the Grand Annual.
Yes.
And then the next year, Early Doors won the Martin Pipe. And it was it's some buzz like to go out on a high.
I'm glad Ellie May wasn't the last race. I'm glad that Galloping Deschamps was the last one. So the highlight of the Friday was definitely the Gold Cup as usual and Manila Indo.
Highlight of the week?
Honeysuckle, Manila Indo, Tiger Roll. I'd say those three.
Okay. From an emotional and, really getting you up, I thought Tiger Roll was but
something special.
Best horse I saw at the Cheltenham Festival this week was Bob Ollinger.
Good man.
Thought that was an incredible performance.
Just to finish on Tiger Roll, the great thing is that he's 11 and we've been able to support him. Like he won a Triumph Hurdle at the age of 4.
I know, yeah.
So we've been able to watch him for 7 seasons. Whereas the flat horses, you only get to see them for a year or two. So.
Now you have stats for me.
Yes, we do. The first one we're going to talk about is age. 25 of the 28 winners were 8 years or less. Okay. 8-year-olds or less.
Now, the only thing is, we do have a Triumph Hurdle.
Yeah.
We do have a Boodles.
Yeah.
We do have a Bumper. Mm-hmm. We do have the Albert Bartlett, the Supreme, and the Ballymore. Mm-hmm. So,
but just to say, right, the 3 horses that were over at the age of 8, the first one is a 10-year-old.
Tiger Roll.
Tiger Roll's 11, come on, yeah.
Tiger Roll. Vintage Clouds.
Yep.
And I will go for... what one that give me... No. What day is it?
Friday.
Friday?
It beat Billaway a short head.
Oh yeah, Porlock Bay, yeah.
But the last 7 winners of the Fox Hunters have been 10 or over, so forget that one. Tiger Roll wins the cross country and Vintage Clouds wins a handicap, right? So those 3 races are a long, long way from the top race of the week, right? So 25 of the 28 races were won by 8-year-olds or less. The Gold Cup, an 8-year-old. Champion Hurdle, 7-year-old. Champion Chase, 7-year-old. Stayers Hurdle, 6-year-old. Ryanair, 7-year-old. Wow. They're the top 5 races of the week. Wow. So... go for younger horses.
The younger, the better.
But even horses like Shack and Persois and Main and Alboon Photo and those, they're just...
So, like, will that impact next year for you? Will you kind of go, if you see a horse that you fancy that's 9 going for a race, are you going to be like...
They have an okay record in the Gold Cup and they have an okay record in the Champion Chase, but that's about it. It's definitely something you have to keep in mind.
And especially, a new thing seems to be the Champion Hurdle, 8 or younger.
Definitely, yeah. So age is a big thing. I go on about novices a good bit for in handicaps, etc. So obviously the Ultima was won by 11-year-old. I think it was his 5th time in the race. The horse that was second was a novice. The Grand Annual was won by Sky Pirate, who's a novice.
Will you stop going on about it? I know he won the Grand Annual.
Oh, stop you, will you? The Paddy Power Plate, the Shunter was a novice. The Kim Muir, Mount Ida was a novice. So 3 of the 4 handicap chases. Last year, all 5. There was 5 last year. All 5 won by novices.
I was going to say, you did say that in the lead up to the festival, novices and handicaps.
And so 3 of the 4 handicap chase won by novices, and there was a second as well. The Boodles, obviously a novice because it's a novice race, but forget that one for the moment. The Coral Cup was won by Heaven Help Us, who was a 2nd season novice. Mrs. Milner was a 2nd season novice. Belfast Banter is a novice, and Galloping Deschamps is a novice. So,
to finish up,
6 of the 9 handicaps were won by novices.
Is that the end of the stats?
No. 13 of the 28 winners began their career in Irish point-to-points. And I think this is, like everything, there has to be a foundation. That's the foundation for the dominance that Ireland has at the moment. And we might as well talk about it now.
Are you worried?
I'm a little bit worried about, I'm not necessarily worried about Irish horses winning a lot, but we had it the other way for long enough. But I'd be very worried in terms of competition at Cheltenham. Like if you look at the number of runners that was in some of the races, in the Supreme 8 runners, the Arkle there was 5 runners, the Ballymore there was 7, and in the Brown Advisory Novice Chase there was 6, and in the Marsh there was 8. I just would worry that, the prices for the 3 novice chases were 4 to 9 Shishkin, 4 to 9 Envy Allen, and 4 to 1 on for the RSA. To me, that's a worry. I just would love to see more runners and more competition. Races like the National Hunt Chase, them sort of races,
Yeah. As I was saying to you before, I think one of the key things that I worry about was for years and years you'd have an English novice that would win, the Supreme Trial at Haydock and might have ran once or twice over hurdles, looked really good, and the trainer would say, we have to run him in Supreme to find out how good he is. Those type of horses that have won once or maybe twice are not going to show up in the Supreme because trainers are just going to go, there's no point, we're taking on Willie, we're taking on something special, like a Sir Gerhard, like a Kilcrush, like an Appreciated. And they don't want to find out how good or bad their horse is by running them in the Supreme.
And the other thing is that they can't run at Cheltenham maybe and then go to Aintree, so a lot of them might sidestep Cheltenham and go to Aintree, and that's a worry for me. The other thing is that now there was 2 dominant Irish trainers for the last 5 years, now you've got 3.
Yeah.
So that's I'd like to see Cheltenham stay competitive.
On your point, Chris Cook, obviously a new employee of the Racing Post, had a lovely comment piece on the same page as mine actually on Saturday, and he made the exact same point. Cheltenham isn't about uncompetitiveness.
No.
And those prices, those prices are uncompetitive races.
Yeah. So anyway, please God, everybody keeps targeting Cheltenham.
Very good. That was our Cheltenham Festival review. Now, folks, it's time to have a look back on myself and Gavin's Ante-Post portfolios.
We don't have to, do we?
We do.
Okay.
We do. It's terms and conditions in the contract. Yeah, we have to have a look back. And the score, Gavin?
The score is that you won this year. And so the score is 3-1.
3-1, okay.
After 4 years.
My 3-1 to Gavin, yeah. But,
And I was definitely odds on going into it.
Oh, you were long odds on, yeah. Colin Reevy pulled it out of the bag. 16-1, tipped up by me.
Well done.
16-1 in the Mayor's Chase. And Tiger Roll at 7-1 in the cross country. So 16-1 and 7-1, 2 winners. Broke just about even, or in around even.
Yes.
Frustrating we'll come on to yours now. In Tukas, 18-1, beating a shout.
Yeah.
St. Sam, 16-1.
Ran a cracker.
Looked like winning, just probably came from a little bit too far back and was a little bit too keen. Sire de Burley ran a fine race. So 3 decent shots that were second and 2 winners.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty good.
Yeah, a little bit frustrating, but Gavin, for you, from your point of view?
I had... I totted them up there a few minutes ago. I had 7 seconds. Now,
that's a song, isn't it?
Yeah, I said that to you earlier.
Who sang it?
We had to look it up on Google.
Don't give it away! Don't give it away!
Nina Cherry and some other fella I can't pronounce.
Not a second.
But honestly, that is
away.
the one song in the world I hate the most.
Just
and I definitely I hate it more now anyway. Gallard de Menil 16s was second at 9-4. Ellie May 4. Shut up. Ellie May 14s went off 6-5 favourite second. Kilcroat 14s 10-11 second. Sire de Belay 10 second. The Boss Oscar 8-1 second. Concertista 5-1 down went off evens, etc. second. Happy Go Lucky 8-1 second. So
you're in the chemist on Saturday morning. Give me something to cure my seconditis.
So apologies to people if they lost money. So sorry about that. But look at all you can do is if you back horse at Cheltenham and you get good value and they're very short in the day, lay them for a few quid and give yourself a free bet.
Yeah, like in fairness to Gavin, that's just luck. A lot of those, like in other years, 6 of those 7 would have won, and you'd be saying this is incredible stuff. Like, so it is frustrating. Like
it is.
Yeah,
but that's the way it goes.
That's the way it goes. But as you said, you got yourself into really good positions.
Yeah.
So you could actually get out of those positions.
I was trading and stuff doing it all week. Now last year I did the same thing, and it cost me money by being, safe or whatever. This year I'm glad I did it.
So what people want to know: did Gavin Lynch win or lose for the Cheltenham
I won a few
Festival?
quid, not a lot, Dave. Not a lot.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Galloping de Champ helped. And the Shunter.
And what was the forfeit?
Oh, a game of golf. Yeah.
Game of golf in Adair Manor.
We're going to Corbelis next week.
Corbelis is grand.
Whenever it opens.
Okay, so
I'll bring you to a good course for a game, yeah.
Adair Manor?
We'll see.
Adair Manor. So there you go.
We'll take pictures.
Those were our maybe JP is watching. JP, if you're watching.
He could sponsor it.
There's only 3 of us. If you want to play along with us, we'll make it a 4-ball. We'll have a bang around Adair Manor. And we're all decent golfers. What are you playing off?
8.
Okay. What am I now? 11 or 12?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. JP, if you're watching, we'd love to play in Adair Manor. But those were our Ante-Post portfolios. We've banged our head off the crossbar on 10 occasions with 10 seconds between us.
Even other ones there, like Time to Get Up and Conflated, they won since. That's just the way it goes.
That's just the way it goes. And look, apologies. We thought we'd do a bit better.
We're doing our best.
We're doing our best. We thought we'd do a bit better. And it was a little bit deflating, but that's Ante-Post punting for you. So before we go, we're going to have a quick look ahead to the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. Feels like a lifetime away, Gavin. We have 12 months to wait. Is there any horses that kind of interest you at the moment for races? Obviously, it's very early, but as viewers of Upping The Ante know, last year, Bob Ollinger, 33-1. It was this week last year, you backed Bob Ollinger. So
I'll give you 2 horses for a race in a moment, but you have to start thinking about, like, we'll appreciate Go for the Arkle. If he does, it'd be a very hard bet. All right, maybe Quilixius and a few others to beat, James de Burley and stuff like that. But where's Fernie Hollow going to go? He's only had 1 run over hurdles, so is Willie going to send him straight to the Morgiana? Maybe he won't. Maybe he might send him chasing. Maybe he could send Appreciator for a champion hurdle. You just don't know what's going to happen. Is Allaho going to go for the champion chase? But then he's got Enna Grameen for it. He'd love to win that race because he's never won it. The 2 horses in the bumper would interest me a lot. Sir Gerhard maybe for the Supreme and Kilcrut for Ballymore, because Willie said that. That looks like, to his eye, how they'd probably go. Bob Ollinger looks like the one for the Marsh. But again, there was a small bit of talk. Probably won't happen. There was a small bit of talk. Maybe Honeysuckle, someday might do a down run, but maybe that's unlikely. It'd be an amazing thing, and it's great for them to even consider.
Can we have one final Tony Mullins impression?
No.
Just for viewers.
Quote for the Ballymore, Dave. He'll win now. He's a proper horse. But those kind of ones are fairly obvious. And then I'll give you 2 for the Brown Advisory Novice Chase.
Okay.
12-1 and 25-1, because I think that Bob Ollinger won't go for that. Okay. Galler Duminil and Brave Man's Game could go for it, but they were kind of showing up a little bit maybe in the Ballymore.
Yeah, I think Brave Man's Game fences will be the making of him.
Definitely.
But he disappointed me. I thought he was better than he showed. He's
a great chance. So is Galler Duminil. He could be an RSA horse. But I thought Vanillier was very impressive in the Bartlett. He looks like a chaser. He was kind of knocking hurdles. Then when he meet one right, he looked like a chaser. And I think Galopin Deschamps would have a chance as well.
Yeah, you like Galopin Deschamps.
Yeah, he won off 142. Like he won that by whatever it was 2.25 lengths, but there were 9 lengths clear of the rest. I know there was a couple of fallers, but he's definitely well over a 150 horse, and he has the gears. Maybe he might avoid Bob Ollinger. So maybe those 2, but we'll see. And you?
Okay, I just have one that I really like for next year. And it's one of your tips this year.
Okay.
It's Statler in the National Hunt Chase, and I'll tell you why. It's the only race he can go for. He's guaranteed to go over fences, big strapping horse.
Yeah.
Looks slow.
Yeah.
Needs a bit more cut in the ground, so the National Hunt Chase is the first race, obviously. First day, sorry. And I just think when you look through it, he's not going to beat the likes of Bob Ollinger, Brave Man's Game.
No chance, no.
Even Vanillier. You couldn't imagine him being good enough to beat them.
No.
He looks slow.
Yeah.
Ronnie Bartlett won the National Hunt Chase this year with Galvin. And Patrick, who obviously if amateurs are riding the race next year, he's going to want to get a good ride in that race. He's going to want to pin himself down to one horse early on. That horse will need to obviously qualify by running over 3 miles. And I just think Statler, when Willie sits down to sort out his novice chase, he's going to go, Statler can't win an Brown Advisory. He's not quite good enough.
No.
So let's just make him our National Hunt Chase horse. I think stamina isn't an issue.
No.
They didn't go quick enough.
Stay all day. And the other thing is the ground will be softer on the Tuesday.
Absolutely.
And then whether it's Paul or Patrick, we're not sure.
We're not sure. So
I think just to say about Galvin, by the way, I'd say he could run a big race in the Entry Grand National next year, maybe.
Okay, yeah, very interesting. So Statler would be mine. He's about 20s, 25s if you can get it for the National Hunt Chase. Statler for 2022 National Hunt Chase.
Maybe Vanillier and Galopin Deschamps for the Brown Advisory Novice Chase. But there's lots already that are of interest, yeah.
Lots that can happen with you now and then, Gavin.
Sure is.
That was a quick look ahead to the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. So that's it, folks. That's the final episode of Upping The Ante in the current series. Hopefully we'll be back again next year. Before we get all emotional, Gavin, and start hugging each other and everything. Oh, no, we can't.
No.
COVID, we can't. Just talk people through your charity cycle.
Yeah, so look, it's on Saturday, September the 25th. We're doing a mad cycle, which I'll tell you now in a second. So it's for Cancer Trials Ireland. pancreatic research, etc. My mum sadly passed away from that, so did Pat Smullen. There's a load of racing personalities taking part on the day, which is great. We're starting in Laytown Racecourse, and we're going from Laytown to Bellewstown to Navan to Ferryhouse to Moyglare Stud. Then we're going to Naas to Punchestown, Giltown Stud in the Curragh. But if you want to just do 20 kilometres, you can. Already. If you want to do 50, you want to do 80, you can meet us at certain points along the way. You're doing 80.
I'm doing it. What's the whole lot?
155.
I'm not. You're doing that?
I am, yeah.
And I'm not doing it?
You can. But you want to keep up. But for example, if you want to do 80, you meet us in Ferryhouse at 11:30 and stuff like that. So we can give you details. It's all on the back of the sponsorship card. So that should be a brilliant day, something to aim at, something to get fit for, and it'll be a good laugh.
And give people the date, how they can contribute.
Okay. So it's on Saturday, September the 25th, and there's actually racing in the Curragh afterwards. So when we get there, we'll watch the last couple of races. And just send me an email, coasttocurragh@gmail.com, and I'll send you out a sponsorship card. And also, there's a GoFundMe page. If you search for Coast to Curragh, you can contribute there.
Coast to Curragh, it's a very, very worthy cause. I'm sure if you won a few quid at Cheltenham, throw some towards Coast to Curragh. Gavin, that's it. That's it. It's been an absolute pleasure sharing your screen with you every Tuesday. Gavin, obviously, we were hoping the tips would go a little bit better. We tried our best.
We did.
We enjoyed it.
Yep.
And I think for us anyway, it helped us get through lockdown and the pandemic. It brought a bit of life to us.
To me, Cheltenham is the best 4 days of the year. My second favourite 4 days is the Augusta Masters, which is on in 2 or 3 weeks, which is great. So I look forward to that. But Cheltenham to me is the best.
It is the best, and he is the best as well. So that's it. That is it, folks. That is the series of Upping The Ante, done and dusted. I've enjoyed it. Have you enjoyed it?
Yes, very much.
And we certainly hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed the 2021 Cheltenham Festival. We will be back with you in November for the new series of Upping The Ante. I've been David Jennings. He's been Gavin Lynch. Thank you so much for watching for the last 20 weeks. We've had a blast.